Welcome to another video. My name is Josie. If you're new here, I make videos all about knitting, and I have an exciting video because I'm going to be doing some planning. I have finally decided what I want to do with my 2025 Ruby and Roses Advent yarn. Cut straight to the point, because my family's outside and they're waiting on me to stop filming, is I'm going to do the Wildflower Blanket by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. It's not currently a pattern that you can purchase, although it will be coming out this year, but for her patrons, it's available. So let me show you this beautiful yarn. I'm going to show you the right way. Okay, yeah. So like I said, this is 2025 Advent yarn. And I have not knit anything with it, clearly. But is it not beautiful? And this is the main skein. So, with the Wildflower Blanket, she made it with an advent calendar in mind. So it calls for 24 20-gram minis. And then the contrast yarn is 2 100-gram skeins. But I only have the one contrast yarn. My plan is to dye a coordinating color. At first I was like, oh, I can't do that because this wouldn't be a Ruby and Roses blanket. But then I thought, no, I don't like that. I love this yarn so much that I think just adding a little bit of my artwork to her artwork, I think I really love that. So, plan for this video is to come up with the order of this yarn. So it calls for 24 20-gram minis, and you hold them double. So it comes out to be 12 contrasting colors. So you hold two of the 2 minis together. It comes out to be 12 contrasting colors, and then 12 of the, well, I guess it would be 12, I don't really know. I don't know if it's a contrast color or main color, but the Advent yarn, you don't have 24 stripes. You have 12 stripes of the Advent yarn. And then I'm holding it back up, because you combine 2 of the mini skeins together to make the color section. And then your contrast yarn is like between all of the color sections. So I have to decide. My plan, oops, this is getting tangled. My plan is to take them out from this order and kind of separate them into lights and darks, because this is not a fade. This is a very random, very random colors. So I don't care about keeping them in order. So I'm going to separate them into lights and darks and see if I have an even amount. Basically, I imagine either the main Advent yarn is going to be marled, or my contrast yarn is going to be marled, because all of these are so different, and there are some that are really dark. So I feel like in order for it to stand out, there has to be one like very light, very dark marled section, whether that's the Advent yarn or I dye something very light. I don't know. My plan is to group the Advent yarn together and then decide how I'm going to dye it. So let's see. I'm going to snip the yarn I have, holding everything in order, and then all right, now I'm going to separate. I feel like I should move you so that you can see. Would you rather see my face? Or would you rather see the yarn? Probably the yarn. That's an easy question. Ooh, I almost sat on my scissors. Okay. I think this is a good angle for you. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good angle, I think. Okay, so I'm just going to grab lights. These are kind of light too. This one maybe. And then these are all a little bit more dark. Okay, that doesn't look like it's even. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I guess these are kind of light. Maybe these. Oh, I guess I can take these little, I had these project markers on here so that I remember which way the advent calendar went on the yarn, or on the yarn holder, but I don't need that anymore. Okay, so I think these might be light. Well, this one could be light. Okay, let's just start with what I know is dark. Dark, 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 dark. Dark, dark. And then they get lighter. So maybe that could be light. Maybe that one. They have dark parts. I think that's darker. Maybe this? This one might work more than this one. Or that one too. Because that one has some dark parts. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so question is, do I add these? Which one do I want to be marled? Which section? Because I can't have like this and this together, right? Like dark, like that's not enough of a contrast in the blanket. So I feel like I have to have a marled section. Okay, so if I did like this, maybe this. Can you still see that? Yeah, kinda. This. Maybe this. These are all kind of close. That's very similar. This is very similar. Wait a second. That. Oh yeah, that's very similar. Okay, I guess these could work. These are like the only yellow ones. These are just so dark. This might work though. There's green in here. Do you see that? And these are, you know, blue. So this is possible. And I kind of like how it is kind of a fade. So I could start with a light section and then kind of go this way until it's dark. Maybe put this one over here. see. Maybe that. Maybe that. Or I can just marl it. Because will this like have enough contrast? I think so. I don't know what I would do. I think I would just do a very light speckled. If I wanted to make the contrast stripe, so whatever I dyed with this be marled, I think I would just go very speckled. Very lightly speckled. So like maybe speckle or charcoal and then a blue and then a red or maybe a green. Blue and red maybe, because that would get some purples in there instead of blue and green. Maybe that's what I'll do. Okay, I'm gonna leave this here. I really like the idea of keeping her yarn together because I feel like marling takes away from like the specialness of like the speckles, and I just absolutely adore her speckles. I really do. I could do something like those and these. No, probably these. Yeah, I really just adore her speckles, and so I love the idea of keeping these like just as speckly as can be. Really. Because this is what is more special to me than just like the skein. I think I like that. It's not the worst thing to stare at beautiful yarn, huh? Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, it's the next day. I talked with my husband. He really had no opinions. There was no need to talk to him. I think I like this though. I think I like what I have together. Like the ones, I think they would come out as like very speckly and not marled, but I think more speckles. However, I'm glad that I waited, talked with you about this yesterday, because I've decided just not to use this as the contrast yarn. I don't love it, like the super dark, like I just think having this be a super dark yarn kind of striped throughout the blanket or marled, I just don't think I would like. And so I'm just going to dye skeins myself. Yeah, I think that's what I've decided. I'm just going to dye some skeins myself. I was thinking, let me hold this back up. I think I cannot do blue. Like thinking, and I want it to be a tonal because I want this to like only be the speckles, and I feel like if it's marled, it would just take away from the speckles. So I think I'm just not gonna do, like I'm just gonna dye two tonals to hold together. So looking at all these, I don't think I can do blue. I don't think I can do gray. I don't want a dark color like brown, dark brown. I don't think that would go well. So no blue, no gray, no green, and I think no pink, even though I love pink. I think no pink. Let me see. Because these over here, like they're just too pink. I think they would blend in. Oh, that's getting so blown out. I think they would blend in too much. And then kind of right here, I'll point with my nose. Too blue right here. That's too gray. And these, oh, these are kind of blocked. Oh, let me see. These ones. That's why I can't do green. And then just like all of these, I don't think I can do pink. I think pink would be like too blendy. So what I'm noticing oh, can I do this? Does that help? Totally helps. Is there's no orange. The only kind of yellow are these two yellows. Really not a lot. There are a lot of purples. So no green, no blue, no pink, no red, no purple. What does that leave? No green, no blue, no purple, no pink, no red. So it leaves orange and yellow if I want it to be like a color. I'm just looking at my color wheel. I'm not like a huge orange fan. Like, I don't gravitate towards orange. I think it would probably be pretty. Just not something I gravitate towards. I also wanted to look and see what dye I have. So I could do something like this. This is what I dyed last time. Just like a kind of a neutral. But honestly, it just seems boring to do a neutral. So I have a green and I have blue. I'm going to set these over. Green and blue. Lavender, which we know rarely ever turned out as lavender, turns out as blue. A pink, yellow, tan, that's a neutral, charcoal gray, that's a neutral, lemon drop, that's yellow, turkey red, we'll put that over there with pink. Rose pink. Ooh. Rose pink. That turns out like a light pink purple. More purple. Okay. Another blue and green. Okay, I really don't think I can do green. So I'll take the greens away. Don't think I can do blue. I really wish you could be here live. I don't know. Okay, I don't think I need blue. Don't think I'll do tan. What do we think? Pink? Like a light pink purple or an orange. Okay, I think I'm gonna do like a rose pink, which kind of turns purple. Because I was looking at it and I think, so these two, which are the most pink ones, I think would stand out next to a light purple. Blue or like gray, no problem. These I think would stand out next to a light purple. These, even though this one's kind of periwinkle, I think holding it together with this more blue one, I think would stand next to light purple. Green, no issue. Kind of yellow, moody colors, no issue. And then we get into the darks. And all of these, of course, would stand out to like a light purple. Even this one that is purple, holding it with this like bright green. So even this one that's purple, holding it with this bright pink, would stand out next to like a light purple. I want to do it. I'm pretty sure I have the same yarn that Addie from Ruby and Roses uses. She uses an 8515, and I got two 8515 skeins to use, or like I have two that I can dye. So I'm gonna dye those so that it's like kind of most similar. I think I'm gonna do it. Question is, do I do it right now? It's 2:15. My oldest son comes out in 15 minutes. I gotta soak the yarn. But then it's just a matter of like mixing it, letting it cool off. I think I can do it. I think I can do it today. I'm gonna do it. Well, joke's on me. The little one just woke up. So, I will at least get the yarn soaking. It has been a whirlwind of a week. I feel like I haven't really definitely not chatted about my knitting. I talked a lot about like dyeing yarn and stuff, which I did finish dyeing my yarn. I dyed twice, so the first round I was a little bit rushed, and I think I added heat too soon and it came out super splotchy. So I dyed it again after the kids went down for bed. I didn't film it since it was at night, but I dyed it again, and this time I like added heat at the very end. And I think that helped. It's still not perfect, and it's not as light as I was hoping it would be, but it's a pinkish purple. So as soon as that's dried tomorrow, I'll show you. I think it's going to be another week of filming on Friday because this week has just been a wash. It really has. My youngest, Noah, had an allergic reaction to amoxicillin on Monday. So yeah, we had, luckily it was just hives. It wasn't an anaphylaxis thing, but we had hives on Monday. They got worse on Tuesday, so we were at the doctor. He hasn't been sleeping well. We're bummed. We're bummed. So I feel like this is the first time I'm like catching up with you, like sitting down to chat with a friend. I felt like in the beginning of the vlog I was filming much more like I wasn't chatting, I was showing, but now we get to chat. So let me show you the progress on my second sock. I have about an inch left, and then the toe. So if nap time goes as planned today, I should finish it. I did not mess up on the heel this time. Go me. It is a perfect heel flap, nothing, no twisting, no nothing. But I still twisted the cast on. I still ended up, it was on my second decrease round, rapid decrease round, that I somehow, when I was moving from the small circumference, like 16-inch circumference to DPNs, I somehow twisted the cast on row. And that was the same thing with my first one. So it's pretty cumbersome, but the heel went better, which I'm really grateful for. So yes, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. Just worn out, really. But I am super pumped to have this time, to be here with you, to knit, finish my socks hopefully, and watch some YouTube, listen to my audiobook, just see what comes up. I just finished weaving in all the ends. There we go. One thing I noticed about this pattern, this is my first sock pattern from Sari Nordlund, and I didn't do the heel that she recommended because I don't particularly like the German short row heel, and I try to avoid heel flap and gusset. But she her decreases, or her decreases for the toe are opposite than like most of the sock patterns I'm used to. Like the knit two together and the slip slip knit are opposite. And I can't remember without like reading the pattern. And I don't really like the look of it. Maybe it's just because my slip slip knit is always gets like a little stretched out. The knit two together kind of blends in a little bit more. My slip slip knit kind of stretches out. But yeah, I think it's really beautiful. There's the one I just finished. Here's the one I finished. This is the one with the super wonky heel. You can see it. This is the one here. I can also maybe do it this way. Yeah, this is the one with the normal heel. It's a butterfly heel by Kay Jones in some of her patterns. But my first time doing this heel on this sock, I just really messed it up. It's a decrease and then you increase. So it's not short rows, but it's not a heel flap and gusset. You like decrease and then you go back and you increase, picking up in the places that you decreased. And I just messed up that like rate on this sock. So you can see how like twisted the heel is, whereas this one is better. But I'm just trying the heel, always on the lookout for a heel that I really love knitting. But the way that I did not mess this one up is I placed markers every time I decreased. I placed a removable marker so that I knew where to pick up when I was increasing. And it was very laborsome, definitely slowed me down, but I didn't mess up. So I can at least try the sock on to see if I like the fit of the heel when it's not messed up. But yeah, such a fun pattern. Cumbersome, but not too bad, really. Okay, so I have them on. I'll give better videos. And I'll probably put them up now because you can see them while I'm chatting. But the ruffle is definitely too short. It's like an inch too short where I normally like my socks to sit. The heel that I did not mess up on definitely fits so much better. I think I just made too small of a size. I like my socks tight, so I knitted the small size, but I think it's just too small. And that's okay. I will block it, definitely. Yeah, the sock that I messed up on has like a little point at the end. Yeah, it's just a little bit too tight. The heel fits pretty well of the sock that I did not mess up. But yeah, the ruffles aren't as like tall as I would like them. They're like an inch short from where my ideal sock length. They hit at my ankle and not like a little bit above my ankle. I'm coming on Friday because I finished dyeing my yarn. It's like 95% dry, so the color is not going to change anymore. But here it is. It turned out, oops, sorry if you could hear that. My son's monitor is having a hard time connecting, so it's beeping. Yes, it came out much more even than the second time after I dyed it. A lot better. It's still not perfect. Like, there's some spots there where you can see like really like fuchsia pink spots where the dye just didn't dye really well, but I'm much happier with it. And like down here, there's definitely lighter spots, but I think holding the two skeins together, I think that's going to really like even out. Like, see, like this is lighter and that, like, that's very different, but I think it's going to even out when you hold it together. And now I know, really start with like cold water when doing tonals. If you have any other tips for dyeing tonals, I don't want it to be like such a strong color. I like a little bit of variation, but yeah, if you have any tips for dyeing tonals, let me know. What I wanted to do was show you, kind of go through all of these and kind of hold it up next to my contrasting color. Here we go. So, these two holding together, I think plenty of contrast. Put it behind my back. These two, great. These two I think will be just fine. Yeah, it's not even, I think it'll be fine with those blues. Greens should be good. Yellows. Okay, now we're getting into the more purples. But even then, I think that's going to be fine. Because there's such dark purple in this mini skeins. I think the pink is going to contrast just fine. Blue should be good. Those are very dark. Yeah, that'll be fine. Another kind of purple skein. Well, that might be a little bit close. That might be a little bit close. I think marling these two together is going to be fine because there's like darker ones in here. But that might be the closest one. And then that, of course, will be fine. So I'm really happy with it. I'm going to unskein it so it can keep drying. I'm really happy with it. So yes, I wanted to show you the finished result before I started editing the vlog. And then I'm just going to start knitting it up. I think my plan is to do kind of alternating between, or not do it like light, like the light skeins. I'm not going to do it in this order. Because I don't want one side of the blanket to be dark and one side to be light. So I'll like mix them up pretty good. And so the mini skeins will be like light and dark kind of all mixed together. I don't have any knitting projects on the needles right now because I just finished my socks. I blocked them. They're already dry. I probably got like 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 an inch more. I think I'll wear them, but if I ever knit the pattern again, it will definitely be, I'll definitely knit a longer leg for the kind of length of sock that I like knitting now, or like wearing now, which is like up here. It just covers my ankle instead of hits right at my ankle. But and then as for the big skein, oh my gosh, there's a red-bellied woodpecker. Let me just admire. Okay, as for the main skein that came from Ruby and Rose's 2025 advent calendar, I'll just put it in my stash and we'll see what I do with it. But yeah, so my plan for next week is to have a little bit of a cast on vlog. I have really been loving monogamously knitting, knitting one project at a time. I've really been loving that. But the summer is here. I need something easy and to take about, and it's not as hot, and I don't really enjoy knitting with cotton linen fibers. So I'm thinking I'll have a sock kind of always on the go, and Kay Jones or the Bakery Bears Summer of Stitching starts this coming week. June 2nd, I believe, is when the patrons get the sock pattern. So I'll be knitting that sock probably out of my tan yarn up there that I dyed. So I'll be doing that one. I'll be casting on that sock this coming week. I will be casting on the blanket, wildflower blanket this coming week. And then for my alpaca yarn, I'm leaning towards the Levitate wrap by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I've never knitted one of her patterns before. They're very popular. But what I really like about it is it's oversized, it's not fitted. It looks like if the alpaca yarn did grow, it just looks like it would like flow with the wraparound style. And then there's also no ribbing. I could be wrong about that. Maybe there is some ribbing. Why did I think there was no ribbing? Okay, it looks like... Okay, yes, it looks like I was right. Looks like I was right. I think I was right. It looks like the bottom hem is maybe like double knit. Sorry, yeah, there you go. Let me zoom in a little bit. See, it looks like it's like kind of double knit. There we go. It looks like the cuffs are folded. So because of that, I don't think the alpaca yarn would stretch out weird. So yeah, I'm leaning towards the levitate wrap, and if something, I might change my mind, of course. Let me show you like this is the classic picture. So it looks like it's supposed to be very oversized, very flowy, and the alpaca yarn I think would lend itself well to that. So something might change, but I think I'll probably cast that on next week as well. So next week will be a little bit of a cast on vlog. I haven't had 3 projects going at one time in a long time, but I think next week I might do it. Anyway, I've got to get this vlog edited. I'm running out of time. Nap time is my precious editing time, so I gotta go. But it was wonderful catching up with you. Let me know what you think of the yarn combo. I think it's gonna be good. And it was fun to kind of dye apart or dye a section of the blanket. But yes, okay, it was great catching up with you. I hope to see you next week, and we will chat very soon. Bye.